Hey, North Texas, we want to welcome Tim Qualls back from his journey up into the northeastern part of the United States, where he escorted the wreaths for Wreaths Across America. There's the logo right there. We want to do a little bit of an after-action review of the Wreaths Across America, and we give him the opportunity to share his experience as being one of the two representatives of the Veterans of Foreign War. So, Tim, why don't you go ahead and give us an event overview? What happened and how was it conducted?
Okay, so I went up on Thursday, 2 weeks ago, I guess it was, the 4th. Flew out on the 4th, got up there and got to do a remembrance tree on Friday, hang my granddad's dog tags from World War II, do a chapel that evening, get up Saturday morning. We're still in Columbia Falls, where Wreaths Across America's headquarters is at. That's where the factory's at. That's where everything is. And then we went to a lighthouse there at the northeasternmost point of the United States. So it was one of the first to see the sunrise on Friday, would have been the 5th. And then we also went to the Canadian border crossing in Calais, Maine, and the Silver Cross families from Canada and the Gold Star families from the United States met at the center of the bridge at the border crossing there and had a little ceremony. And then Sunday morning we got up and started our trek to head towards DC in Arlington National Cemetery.
How many volunteers do you think were in the overall train?
Volunteer-wise, for veteran service organizations, there was a couple of folks there representing the American Legion. There was a couple of us there representing the VFW. There was AMVETS folks, one AMVETS folk guy there, and so 5, I would say, and then drivers, roughly 50 or so volunteer side, counting VSOs. Then you had the law enforcement, which was probably another 50. And then you had Gold Star families who were a part of the convoy, which comprised of, that was probably, so there's probably roughly 150, 200 people just in the convoy itself.
Oh, wow, that's enormous.
So yeah, it was like a 1.5 2-mile convoy. They say it's the world's largest veterans parade going down the highway.
So along the road, your vehicle stopped at different points along the route. What were some of the things that you did when the vehicles stopped?
Yep. So we stopped 3 to 4 times each day. We would go into either high school, middle school, elementary school, town halls, into memorials or monuments along the way. We would always have a ceremony because the mission statement for Wreaths Across America is remember, honor, teach. Pretty easy things to get in your head and get locked in. So remember the fallen, honor those who are serving, and teach the youth or the next generation about veterans and the importance of our freedom and where it came from, and how, paying the ultimate sacrifice is what we were honoring during this trip from Maine to DC.
If you had to guess how many times you stopped during that time period, what do you think that number was?
So it would have been 4, 7. Say there was at least 15 stops along the way.
Wow.
That's why it takes from Sunday to Friday to pull into DC, and then Saturday for that. And then, of course, on Friday when we pull into DC, we hit the Vietnam Wall, the Vietnam Women's Memorial, the Korean War, and World War II, and we lay wreaths at all of those.
I mean, so we're talking across every gamut of veteran service organization and volunteer service, scouting and and school communities and civic organizations like the Elks and all those. I mean, like across the entire community, everybody that wanted to honor veterans were there.
That was the big thing, was like all these different organizations and just community. Everywhere we stopped would come together. I mean, it didn't just have to be in a community. It was just along the interstate. We had cars that were stopped or people who were standing out on the side of the road when we were coming through towns that were, waving flags or waving to us, or I tell people, older veterans, I complained a little bit about the cold, and then I saw veterans that were probably in their upper 80s with their walkers out there that were just barely able to salute, but they're out there saluting. And so it's like, if they can do that, I can handle a little bit of cold. And so it was just such a memorable experience. But we'll get to that.
Okay. Let's ask a deeper question here. What is your personal, after doing it, what is your personal assessment of what the objectives of the Wreaths Across America, and then what do you think the outcomes of those objectives were?
Okay. So I learned pretty quickly what I just briefly touched on. Remember, honor, teach. So that's the huge objective of Wreaths Across America. Every year they have a different motto to put in there. This year's happened to come from Captain Joshua Byers, who was killed in action in Iraq, and so he was a convoy leader. And the story is that his driver ran to him after an ID hit and asked him, "What do we do?" And he said, "Keep moving forward." That was one of his last words. And so that became the theme of this year's Wreaths Across America, was keep moving forward. And I actually got to meet his parents in person. I got to sit through dinner with them. And it was just an incredible experience just to meet these Gold Star families and meet the Byers and his brother. And these are folks who just want their story told, the story of their son or their daughter told. And so life-changing experience where the objectives met 100%. In these schools, these kids were reciting right back to us what we were out there doing. They want to learn. They were just basically like a sponge soaking up this information that we were putting out. And everywhere we went, that's exactly what we did. We were remembering those that were fallen. We were honoring those who were serving, and we were teaching these young kids of all ages, and even some adults, of just what Wreaths Across America means.
So let me ask this. Did what Wreaths Across America asked you to do by joining them in this year's convoy, was their own personal objectives met by that? Did the outcome that they wanted for this, did it happen?
I would say yes and no. So yes, we accomplished the mission of getting there and doing what we set out to do. They did fall short in wreaths being sponsored, even though they put out 3.1 million wreaths this year to almost 5,700 locations.
Wow.
And they were still short of the goal they set of wreaths to be sponsored. And anybody can sponsor a wreath. It's $17 a wreath to sponsor a wreath. You can contact them at wreathsacrossamerica.org, and your organization, you personally. I know people who call in and sponsor 2 or 3 wreaths a year, just in honor of their family. So, but that's where they miss. But as far as getting the word out and doing what we do, it 100% met the mark.
Listen, before we go any further, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and then hit the notification bell so that you always know when we're about to upload videos. All right, so let me ask this question. I'm going to redirect this a little bit. So let's talk about event execution. So first of all, did you meet any famous people that you were excited to meet along the way? Whether it was a military family member that you were looking forward to meeting, or an athlete or something. Was there somebody along the way that you just you hit it and you're like, oh, this was...
I didn't, nobody famous, let's put it. Okay. But there were people who became my heroes, let's say. Okay. This is one of the biggest emotional roller coasters that I've ever been on in my life. I mean, I gained a new perspective on being a veteran. it's kind of odd that I can say that I learned something, but I did. I learned a lot from this trip. And just to be able to see some of the different things, some of the different monuments and memorials that I got to see on this gave me a new perspective on soldiers in general, or veterans in general. Let me put it that way, because seeing letters and memorials written home and just gave me an understanding that as veterans, we're really no different. We miss home. Especially when we're deployed. I mean, everybody's the same, and we can act tough and everything else, but there are times when you're just scared, and so some of that stuff came out, and it's good to be able to get to see that as a fellow veteran. So I got new heroes, let's say, or added to the hero list.
So as a North Texan, I expect that the weather was quite overwhelming to you, but let me ask this question. Did the weather, the conditions, was it disruptive to the operations at all?
No.
Or was it just disruptive to Tim Qualls?
Yeah, it was my comfort that was affected, not, I mean, it literally, I'm mentally prepared for worse than it actually turned out to be, which is probably a good thing, but it didn't hamper in any way where we went, what we did. If it was an outside event, it was an outside event, and we all stood there and got through it together. And everybody that needed to be honored got honored, and there's one person handling those logistics, and she's just an amazing person.
What's her name? You want to give a shout out?
I wanted to give a shout out to Tiffany Strauss. She helped me out a lot.
Thank you, Tiffany Strauss.
Yep. So I appreciate her husband Chris, and Amber for all that they did. The Worcesters, who are the founders of this, for making this all happen, which was just an incredible deal. So weather-wise, it was a little bit of a shock. I've been in Texas for a little bit too long. My blood's a little too thin, but it all came out. I bought a pea coat, and I was just fine in that. I felt pretty good.
All right, well, let's give an overall assessment here to wrap this thing up. How many wreaths did you personally lay? Let me ask that question.
Okay, so in Arlington, I laid probably, I think I laid 5 wreaths.
Ooh.
So it's like, that's not a bunch. But boy, you have to understand, we get there, and then they open the gates, and it's like thousands and thousands. It was 20,000 plus people who came through those gates. And that was another part of the beauty, was just to see all different ethnicities and political backgrounds, and everything came together because it was about laying wreaths on veterans' graves.
Oh, that's very cool.
So it was very cool to see.
So you guys didn't actually lay any wreaths between Maine
and
absolutely.
Arlington? Yeah. No,
okay.
Just in Arlington, that's what. But yes, At the Vietnam Wall, we put one at each panel. At every stop, with the exception of the school. The school gets a wreath, but we had, the Vietnam Memorial that we stopped at in New Jersey. There was a ton of wreaths laid there. So yes, throughout the whole convoy, there are wreaths being laid all the way to D.C., and then once you get into D.C., all those monuments that we did on Friday, and of course Arlington was just the finale, and that would be at noon at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier is when it's officially 2025 Wreaths Across America was over. But yes, plenty of wreaths to go around, I promise you.
All right.
So it was 3.1 million wreaths, 5,700 locations, just under 57. Wow. And very, very, very successful. It was amazing to watch this all come together.
So is there anything that we didn't talk about that you felt like you need to share with the viewers here? Or?
No, I mean, I could go on for days and days, but I mean, just to give you a quick synopsis, it's an organization that I would highly recommend that you get involved with. They're in it for the right reasons. They are doing good work, great work, and especially with Gold Star families and Blue Star families and just veterans in general, not just our veterans that have paid the ultimate sacrifice, but their concern is for for all, and so it's a great organization. Check them out again, wreathsacrossamerica.org, and I would suggest signing up and being able to go on this trip with them. It's amazing experience.
Thank you, Tim. I appreciate that perspective on it, man. I'm glad we did this. That was a good breakdown of it. I'm sure we're going to continue to talk about it weeks to come. So,
Yep.
Listen, if you're ready to stand with your fellow veterans and make your voice heard, and you hear that amazing story of him going up to Maine to really honor the fallen, that everything they did was specifically for our fallen.
Yep.
Join the Veterans of Foreign War today. We just gave away one of these amazing PCs. We're not going to have one floating here anymore, but this weekend, XREBA's donated one of these machines, and we the ones that we used during the tournaments, and it was a great weekend overall. Under the Army losing, so
By 1 point.
by 1 point. Oh my God! Now listen, we have more upcoming gaming tournaments, and if you're a high school student or you know a high school student, we have developed a shot at getting an esports scholarship at a Division I school. Check out the rules on the Discord page. The link is below. So thanks for joining us, Tim. Thank you for sharing that. It's amazing and very heartfelt. And I hope we honored your sacrifice by going up there and representing North Texas, man. That was amazing.
It was awesome, and I'm excited about this high school thing, man. This combine that we got going is amazing.
Yeah,
So,
check it out.
Yep,
Check it out.
Yep, and then come check the post out.
Yep.
Come see us.